All right, everybody, light up those pumpkins because we are live. Let's see who else is awake and alive out there tonight. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday, everybody. Welcome to the live stream coming at you from HDN headquarters here in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. I'm Matt with Halloween Daily News. If you didn't know that already, if you're new here, this is our weekly gathering and geek out with the fans of the Halloween movie franchise, where we talk all things Michael Myers, go over all the latest news and updates, and there's quite a bit right now. So if you're new, welcome. And to all my returning friends, I see there's quite a few already lighting up the chat room right now. What's up, you guys? Happy Michael Myers Monday! Let's do this, and Happy New Year! It has been a while since our last live stream. This is actually our first live stream of 2022. Got to kick it off on a Monday night doing the Michael Myers Monday live thing. And there's a lot of news to talk about. You guys know this. So I'm going to catch my breath for just a second and see who all is in the chat room right now. Again, don't be shy. If you're just checking in, if you're just joining us, we're going to talk about Halloween Ends. We're going to talk about Halloween Kills Extended Cut. We're going to debut a preview of our next exclusive brand new interview with a Halloween franchise cast member that I'm going to be revealing here in just a minute. So how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Michael Myers Monday. Yes, there's Phil up in here. I see Ken and Patrick and Summit is here. Long time no see. You got it, man. There's David Suber. Lots of familiar names in here. Halloween Ends Updates is in here. Who else is in here? I see some other familiar names. Look, guys, don't be shy. We're going to keep the live chat going. Of course, the super chat is enabled. If we get going and you really want to get my attention, we'll stop whatever we're doing and address that. Otherwise, I'm going to do what I can to address the live chat as we're going along. We're going to talk about some news items and debut some exclusive footage here in just a minute. Phil Walsh is here. Happy Michael Myers Monday, man. Lots of Halloween-related news. Yes, Byron has checked in. Excellent, excellent. Good to see everybody here. Hope everybody's doing well. Want to thank you for joining me, and thank you for a great 2021. I know we're a little bit into the year. We're about to wrap up the first month of the year, but it's been that long since we've done a live stream, so I just want to say it to you guys. Thanks for last year, and here we go again, right? We are on the countdown to another Halloween movie. It is in full production right now, and we're going to be talking about that. We got some new images from the set we're going to talk about. I'm going to be debuting some exclusive footage that we actually shot in Savannah just about a week ago when we were there just ahead of filming at some of these locations. So I'm going to be talking about all of that. We got a lot to get to tonight, and I do appreciate you all being here. Happy Michael Myers Monday is right. Absolutely. And cheers to all of you guys. All right. Again, we're going to break the format just a little bit. I mean, it's still basically the same format, but I just want to backtrack just a tiny bit. And we have to talk a little bit about Halloween Kills Extended Cut, because that's right. It's been that long since we did a live stream. The last one was right before the Extended Cut was released digitally. Right before we dropped our interview with Danielle Harris. I hope you checked that out last month. As you know, the extended cut was released digitally in December and physically just a few weeks ago. And I have to take this opportunity to officially thank Universal Pictures. Hopefully you watched our unboxing video, but they were actually cool enough to send us a holiday box that we got right before Christmas, and it was to celebrate the release of the digital release of Halloween Kills Extended Cut. And in that box, I mean, they actually had a mask, which was amazing, a really great Trick or Treat Studios Halloween Kills mask, a Santa hat, a black and white Santa hat with orange stitching that says Halloween Kills on it, and some other goodies. And you can see them all in the unboxing video elsewhere, but I got a few down here in my office. I know you can't see this real well, but that is a Halloween Kills Michael Myers decal I'm going to be putting on my car. There you can see it a little bit. And they sent us these really cool postcards. You might have seen I shared some images of these on our Instagram. You know, home for the holidays, and it's got the Myers house because this was Halloween Kills, and Michael Myers coming home for the holidays, of course. And yeah, I know I said in the video I was gonna taste the popcorn, but I'm a sucker for collector's items, and I have not opened the popcorn yet. Maybe at some point I'll do a tasting video or something like that. I don't know, but there you see my Halloween Kills red, white, and black popcorn. So thanks to Universal Studios for sending us that, and for also hooking us up with this beauty right here. That's right. I gotta say, it was super nice coming home recently after we were out of town for just under 3 weeks, and it was great to come home after all that time out of town and have this beauty waiting here for me. I am again a collector and a sucker for the physical format. I long live physical formats, DVDs, CDs, vinyl, what have you. So I do appreciate Universal sending us this physical copy. Also, for some reason, my digital copy, when I redeemed it through Movies Anywhere and Vudu, wherever I watch it, I can't pull up the commentary. So it wasn't until I got this and the disc that I could finally actually listen to this great commentary track. And really, that's what this release is all about. It's the bonus features. And because the extended cut, you know, I do want to talk about the differences here just for a minute. But again, why I had to own this, it is the bonus features. It always is the bonus features. And I have to say that this is a little more generous in that department than the 2018 film, which, you know, was a little bit lacking on the bonus features. This does have a little bit more packed into there. You know, some of what you'd expect, what Universal normally does. You know, a lot of featurettes, a lot of stuff you've seen surfaced online on the Universal YouTube channel in recent weeks. There are some deleted scenes, some that are inserted into the extended cut, and I was very pleased to see that there's a few additional scenes inserted in there other than just that extended ending, which we kind of knew what it was going to be if you were with me last year. You know, we from the novelization and just from David Gordon Green's comments, we pretty much knew what that added scene was going to be. Now we've seen it. It is a cool scene. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You know, talking about that added scene at the end of the extended cut. Just real quick, I mean, it didn't really change my opinion personally of like, oh, that's the definitive ending of the film. I do agree with their thought of, you know, why they decided to cut the film where they did. It was once they realized they were going to do the time jump 4 years later. That ending makes much more sense on a film that's going to pick up that same night, just a few minutes later. Now that they know they're going to pick up 4 years later, it doesn't make as much sense. And so I understand their logic in cutting it, and I do think it's a little too much of a to be continued for me personally, even if it was going to pick up in the same night. I like just the brutal ending right on Karen's death. And Lori, you know, you still get the idea. She knows what's up. She knows what's going on and what happened without that phone call even happening. That being said, it is a cool scene. I'm definitely glad that we get to see it as it was originally cut. And what I really like, though, are the other scenes that they inserted into the extended cut. And we haven't really talked about this because, again, I hadn't seen the extended cut when we did our last live stream, and I haven't really done an official review yet. I'm going to publish something on the site this week, mainly about the bonus features and the director's commentary with David Gordon Green, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Judy Greer. But there are some fun additional scenes added back in. My favorite, though, is with Lonnie. And this one I really wish they had kind of kept. I kind of understand, again, why they didn't. It was just for pacing. And you know, it spends a little too much time on Lonnie during that flashback. But that being said, that part I love. And I definitely, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's a fun scene that pays homage to Michael standing behind the bush, the hedge in the 78 film when Lori sees him and the other girls don't. And so Lonnie has that moment, and I'll show you a still right here from that moment in the extended cut. And we had seen kind of images of this being shot from set photos that came out during the filming of Halloween Kills. We had also seen a little bit of this in the marketing. Some of this scene with Lonnie was featured pretty prominently in the marketing for HK, and then it wasn't in the theatrical cut. So it is kind of cool to see it reinserted back in. But here's what I'm talking about. And again, I'm not going to play the whole scene, but it is a fun, very creepy, very Shape-esque scene. And again, another part of that masterful 1978 flashback sequence that we all love so much. Let's see, looking at the comments real quick. David Suber agrees with me on physical media. Hell yes. Eliza McFarlane has checked in with a lit pumpkin. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Summit says Halloween Ends is filming in Georgia just like Rob Zombie's H2, so that's cool. Absolutely. Phil says, yes, the Lonnie scene was a great addition. Absolutely. David agrees. This is an awesome shot. Yeah, I just love this shot. And I love how the scene continues. You know, it's again, very creepy, very classic Michael. And then what I love is that, you know, we do get that payoff where Michael, or excuse me, when Lonnie, you know, gets to the bush and looks, and he's not there, much like in 78. Um, a, just you know, a whole Easter egg of a scene, but I love it. I love that being reinserted for sure. But I love that scene. There is another deleted scene in the extended cut that you probably noticed. It's in the hospital, and it's Karen, and she kind of gets a little turned around in the morgue and runs into this creepy guy down in the morgue. And it's just kind of a weird, kind of almost just trippy scene, just adding to Karen's grief. Again, not missing a ton there, but I certainly like seeing it in this extended cut. And then there's that extended cut. Now there is some extra flashes of gore and blood throughout the extended cut too that I noticed. A few little snippets, you know, but those are like the main new scenes reinserted that I noticed anyway. I might be forgetting something, but there are the extra deleted scenes also included within the bonus content. And among those is the much talked about Nick Castle cameo that was not featured in the theatrical cut, not featured in the extended cut, but we do finally at least get to see Nick behind the mask and that cameo that was filmed. And it was exactly what has been described, what Nick has described in previous interviews with on Sean Clark's channel. And if you didn't know, it is in Sandra. You know, she's flying the drone, and it goes in the bathroom. And instead of just hearing the shape knock it out and throw it out, you actually see through the drone POV, and you see the shape. And it is, in fact, Nick Castle in those scenes. So again, I do definitely appreciate Universal, Blumhouse, the powers that be, for including that here. They said from the beginning that yes, it was deleted, but yes, it'll be included in the bonus features on the eventual home video release. So I definitely appreciate that coming to be. Now, another thing that I know a lot of people are talking about, and we haven't had a chance to talk about, so I just want to talk about it a little bit. And again, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in my actual written review of the whole extended cut release when I go over the commentary a little bit more. But it is a fun commentary. I love the featured commentary tracks. I've talked about that on here before. I was disappointed that 2018 didn't have a feature commentary. I'd love to hear David Gordon Green and Dan McBride and Jeff Bradley, the writers um, talk about the film. I'd still hope we get that at some point. So this is a pretty enlightening and pretty entertaining um, commentary. Jamie Lee Curtis, well known. She hates horror movies, so she constantly can't look at the screen as she does in most of these commentaries. And Judy Greer is about the same. But David Gordon Green does give a few interesting tidbits here and there. Um, More kind of confirming a lot of the stuff that we, as fans kind of knew or surmised going in. Um, but of course, I know you've all heard that he mentions Halloween Ends just a little bit in the beginning of the commentary, and specifically this radio tower. And everybody's now got theories of the radio tower. I've seen 8 million headlines about the radio tower and how that's going to play into Halloween Ends. This is what we're talking about. If if um if you haven't clicked on any of those, um yes, David Gordon Green mentions this radio tower, and I saw all these headlines. Like I said, I only listened to the commentary just a few days ago for the first time, and so I finally kind of heard what the fuss was about with my own ears, and it is pretty notable. Like my initial reaction, and still pretty much my reaction, is I wouldn't put a ton of stock into this. I mean, David Gordon Green, he kind of, he knows he's gonna have fun with the fans and the press a little bit. But it is definitely absolutely worth noting because he does make note of this quite a few times that they went out of their way to digitally add this radio tower into the background of Haddonfield, both in the present day 2018 shots that open the film with Cameron finding Hawkins. You see it there, and as well as in the 1978 flashback sequence where you can see it right here in this shot. And he doesn't say much. He just says that it's got to do with it's going to come into play in Halloween Ends. And again, I didn't think too much of it, and I still don't think a whole lot of it, other than the fact that they did take those extra steps right before the release of this film to make sure it's inserted in there, just to drop that in there. So it does make me a little bit curious. As far as my own, just pure speculation, just pure guessing, I don't know. I think it could be probably something as simple as maybe Lori goes there every day, or maybe just every October, and she uses that radio tower to scan the police scanners, uh, listening for Michael's return. Maybe it's as simple as that. Maybe something big eventually happens there. Maybe that's where she hears where he's at. Who knows? That's just, again, pure speculation. Um, it definitely is curious. It definitely is, worth noting. But that's kind of would be my pure speculation. There were some other fun things in the commentary. I did like hearing him talk about some of the people that we've interviewed and that I've talked to, and kind of reiterate some of the stories that we've heard. It was great hearing him talk about our friend Giselle and how he wrote her role for her, and mentioning that she worked on the 2018 film, the story that she kind of revealed to us. And so that was fun hearing it from his side. And there are some other interesting things in there that I'll get into in the larger review. But how about you guys? What do you think about the extended cut? Is that the cut you're going to watch? I mean, I probably will, in future viewings, that will be the go-to cut. Even though, like I said, in my personal preference, I mean, I like the theatrical ending better. But that's still there. You just get that little bit extra. And it is some really cool Carpenter music and when Jamie's walking down that hallway. Again, though, it's kind of weird that moment, that walk down the hallway, that line, "I'm coming for you, Michael," was used so prominently in the advertising. Meanwhile, it was originally going to be the absolute, final exclamation point on the film. And I don't know. I think that would have been a little spoilery too if they had left it in and it had been in there. So I don't know. But I do like the theatrical ending. I think that's more of the Empire Strikes Back, just the dark ending of right there on Karen and Michael in the window. Sammy Gomez has checked in. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. A Wolf is here as well. Let's see. Wolf says, guys, that Werewolf by Night Disney Halloween special plus Hocus Pocus plus Halloween equals best Halloween since childhood. Yeah, well, there's so many great Halloween movies coming out this year. I mean, obviously, Halloween Ends is at the top of the list, but yeah, I mean, we got Terrifier 2 to look forward to, and yeah, the Disney Plus Werewolf by Night Halloween special, Hocus Pocus 2, Dark Harvest is another one we're very excited about. We're covering a ton of awesome Halloween movies coming out this year. Young Major is here. Thanks, man. Happy to be back. Byron says, I'm more of a fan of the extended cut of Halloween Kills. Very interesting. I mean, overall, like I said, that'll be the go-to one to view. I just don't need that extra ending. I mean, I appreciate that I have it and can see it now. But I do really like the inserted Lonnie scene and the inserted Karen scene in the morgue. Although I don't have to have the morgue scene, but and of course the added blood and gore is always good. Let's see. Real quick, back in the live chat. Let's see what I missed here. Someone says, I really wish they'd make a full movie of that 78 time period. Very amazing visual style, acting, writing. Yeah, I mean, they really did capture it really well. And that's another one of the great bonus features included on that extended cut release, is the recreating of 1978 and the recreating of the Myers house. And it really is fascinating. And the attention to detail, I mean, that's one thing that I've enjoyed in these rewatches of the film. Every time I rewatch it, I notice even more stunning detail, especially in the 78 portions, that I really appreciate. And by the way, another thing I love about, both cuts, but I don't think I've said it here or publicly really, but I just want to mention it, is the opening credits sequence. I mean, of course, the Carpenter score at all turns is perfect, but I love the choice of the multiple jack-o'-lanterns, and David Gordon Green mentioned that it kind of is already a clue into like the mob mentality that's going to be coming, and I thought that was very smart. I also think it's great that there's 12 of them, if you count. There's exactly 12 of them, and Halloween Kills being the 12th film in the franchise. Also very interesting, I noticed I found it interesting that David Gordon Green reveals that in all the contracts for Halloween Kills, it is officially, like, legally still called Halloween 12. Again, the 12th film in the franchise, but it is, like, legally in the contracts and all that. It is Halloween 12. Very interesting. I guess they're shooting Halloween 13 right now. So, lucky number 13. That's going to be Halloween Ends. So, again, yeah, let me know what you think on the extended cut, if that's going to be your preferred cut to watch. I love that Lonnie scene for sure, and it's such a fittingly Michael Myers moment too. It's Michael just fucking with somebody, and also being like a ghost, and that is very Michael too. That is at the heart of the shape in the 78 film. Which reminds me, and again, I'm not going to go into this, but one thing that I just want to remind people about Halloween Kills, because I've seen some criticisms out there about some things, and every now and then I'll see people say, "Oh, but how did Michael get from here to there after this, and nobody saw him?" Or "How did Michael do this?" Or "How did?" And I just want to remind, and I think most of you guys watching this on a Monday night at a little bit after 11 p.m. here on the East Coast. I don't think I'm telling you guys anything. I'm pretty much preaching to the choir. If you're here at this point, you know me. We're pretty like-minded. But just in case somebody stumbles on this, it needs the reminder. Um, if you're asking some of those questions, a lot of those questions, most of those questions, so you're kind of missing the point of the shape of Michael Myers. Like how did he appear outside Laurie's window, by the clothesline, and then a second later he disappears, and it's just that's kind of the whole point of him is you don't know how, and if it's explained, well then I mean, that's not the shape. That's not the mysterious boogeyman right there. He's got to walk that line of being unexplainable, even though while he seems mostly explainable, it's always got to walk that line. So I've thought about that in rewatches of Halloween Kills too. That because I really do enjoy it. I think it's gonna age well. Honestly, I think it's gonna be a fan favorite for a while now. That said, I mean, it's not perfect. There are issues, as I said after my first viewing and in my initial review of it. I really wish that Tommy had a better. I saw somebody comment that they were wondering, or somebody said that Tommy ruined the movie. I don't think that, but I think there was such build up to Tommy's showdown with Michael, and that being not really getting the payoff that we were promised with that. There were a lot of things that happened in the movie that I didn't see coming in the marketing, in the film. The whole mistaken identity stuff. I didn't see any of that coming. I thought it was great, but I definitely think that anyway, another, like I said, a little more showdown time with Michael, and I understand that they ran out of that. David Gordon Green talks about that in the commentary too. That when they're filming that mob fight, they did run out of night is what they ran. The sun came up, and that's why portions of it is shot on sound stages at Screen Gem Studios in Wilmington. And he talks about that. You can see it in the film. It's when there's no longer houses behind them and it goes black. That's when they were on the stage, and that's Tommy's big demise and everything. And so I think that was part of why some of that had to be cut down from what they probably were originally intending. I mean, we still get what happened. It still happens, and Michael still gets that bat, and and we get that blood splatter, and it is glorious. But excuse me. But a few more scenes of that I think were warranted. And the one other death, I know a lot of people wanted to see more of Marion. Of course, I'd love to see more of Marion. And to hear Chris Nelson, the great Christopher Nelson, talk about and actually show us on his Instagram, some of what they had devised for her original death. Yes, I do think that would have been better, if not far more disturbing. But I do kind of like, again, in rewatches, that it is so early and just because she is such an iconic character in this franchise and is just dispensed with like nothing, like so quick, because that's this Michael. I've said before, this Michael is Ultimate Michael Myers. Which, by the way, today is Ultimate Michael Myers, James Jude Courtney's birthday. How have I not even mentioned that until now? Holy shit. All right, everybody, pause. I forgot to mention this at the top of tonight's broadcast. Remind me where I was at with Halloween Kills. Right now, toast to the man, James Jude Courtney. He's in Savannah right now. It's dark. You know what he's doing. But today is his birthday, guys. So let's celebrate James Jude Courtney. Happy birthday to the man. Happy Michael Myers Monday birthday. Ken says Myers is very spiritual. Absolutely. David says supernatural, like the wind, the boogeyman. Yes, that's what I mean. I mean, he's like the wind. You guys know what I mean. And I love seeing that stuff. And but the key is not to beat you over the head with it. You know, it's always got to be subtle. And I think for the most part it has been. The other death scene I think I was going to mention uh, is Lonnie's, because again, I enjoy the what they did with young Lonnie. I understand why they did it. They wanted to, incorporate the legacy characters, but they also wanted to expand on the 78. So here's a character who is a legacy character that they can expand on and kind of delve into a little bit more. I get all the reasoning for that. I think it works well. I like uh, again that hedge scene. I think that's really effective and creepy, and really enjoyed it. And I do like the irony that Lonnie and David Gordon Green talks about this in the commentary, that Lonnie is the bully earlier that day, bullying Tommy, and then that night he's the one getting bullied in much the same way, and then how they turn out many years later. And in the novel, and we'll talk about that another time, but the novel goes much more into what they've been up to in the 40 years since. But Lonnie's death, I feel like we were kind of cheated out of what should have been a monumental moment um, for this legacy character. Robert Longstreet, I thought he did a really great job. Not a lot of screen time, not a lot to do in the film, but what screen time he's given, I thought he and Dylan as Cameron, had good chemistry. I enjoyed all that. And I get that he wanted to go into the house by himself, and it was kind of the callback to, get your ass away from there. Like, I get that. And that's kind of what they were going for. But I do kind of feel like we as viewers and fans were kind of cheated out of what should have been a really emotional legacy death. And we don't really get that. So those two things I'd probably change, but you tell me what you guys think. And again, I'll go much more into extended cut. And actually, we're going to have a fun video coming up in just a few days because, like I said, we were out of town. We had a family vacation. We went down to Orlando and got some time away. And on the way back, we swung through Savannah because a little production was getting underway there, and we wanted to try to stock the set basically, and we did that. And on the way from there, on our way into here in North Carolina, we swung by Wilmington and spent a night there. And I actually went by just a few of the Halloween Kills filming spots and shot a few little location video segments there that I'm going to be editing together. And we had a drink at the Rusty Nail, which is, of course, Mick's bar in the film. And we talked to the owner, Sandy, and she had some great stories about the production being there that I'll be sharing in an article coming up here. Probably later this week, we'll have that up. So you can look forward to that. So that is Halloween Kills. Like I said, extended cut, as you know, is out now. And again, another thing about this outer slip cover here, I don't know if you can tell, but it's got the cool raised art on there, the embossed. Can you see that? How Michael is like raised on to the cardboard. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, if you're like me, you got to own the physical media, and you got to own every edition, and so that's a must own. Let's see. David Suber says that hedge scene would have added more stalking Myers, what everyone wants to see more of. Yeah. I mean, it's like as classic Myers as it gets, and that's why I think of all the deleted scenes. And I didn't mention all of the other ones. Like I said, Nick's scene is in there, which again, I get why they removed it. David talks about it again in the commentary. He, he says that ultimately it just felt that it cut the tension a little bit too early by seeing that reveal that it is definitely the shape in the bathroom there. But it pretty much confirms, as far as I'm concerned anyway, that that's where he bandaged his hand, was in their bathroom. I mean, if you were wondering, that's what he's doing in that scene, and that's what Nick had said the scene was. So it's cool to see that. There's another deleted scene of the mob outside the hospital, just kind of doing their chanting and just kind of the chaos out there, and you get a little bit of Laurie's concerned look. Um, and what was the other deleted scene, guys? Do you guys remember? Now I don't even remember what it was, but it's got a lot of cool featurettes, a lot of which you can watch on YouTube now. The gag reel is pretty fun. Oh, it's Allison meeting Brackett, which again I kind of think, as I just saw one of you comment a minute ago, I do agree more Brackett would have been good. And that's really the three deleted scenes that are not included in the extended cut that they include in the bonus features. Allison meeting Brackett, which, again, anything with Charles Cyphers, I do agree he was underused in the film. I mean, you could argue that all the legacy actors were underused. I mean, I do think it was, not an afterthought, but I do think that the script was very well along when they realized, oh, these actors are available, and they're willing, and we could actually work them into the script. And I they don't say that in the commentary specifically, but I do think it's pretty evident that part of that is there. So yeah, I mean, they could have worked things a little bit better, but it's just great to see them back. Honestly, in my opinion, I mean, because so many franchises don't do this, although they are more and more now, thanks to, in no small part to Halloween 2018. Uh, tis the season of requels, right? But I do like that Allison and Brackett scene, and I would like to see more Brackett too. And then again, there's the drone scene and the protesters outside the hospital. The gag reel is pretty funny. I always think, though, when I watch these gag reels and it's like 90 seconds or whatever, 2 minutes of it, I'm like, surely they've got more. Surely there's like hours more of these bloopers that they could share with us. I would like to see it. And there's a lot of the featurettes that, again, you can watch over on Universal's YouTube channel right now. One of the coolest ones is the kill count. And if you didn't know, they count 31 kills. And I think they're probably not counting a few that are not really shown, but are insinuated with the firefighters. And of course, that 78 transformations featurette, that's a really good one, specifically about the flashback sequence. But in all the extended cut, it's about 4 minutes longer. And yeah, Lonnie's scene is about a minute or so. I think a little over a minute. And the scene with Sandra, Diva Tyler, who we were lucky enough to interview last year. Check it out elsewhere on the channel if you haven't already. That's probably a little over a minute, about a minute and a half. And same with Allison meets, with the morgue, with Karen meeting the weird guy, the old guy down in the morgue. All right. So let's move into Halloween Ends, shall we? As you know, production has begun. And it is one of the only productions filming right now. They're shooting right now in Savannah, Georgia. Like, literally, like, right now. Like, I pretty much guarantee they're, like, out there shooting. Like, as we're shooting this, they're out there. I'm pretty sure. All right, quick breather. Summit says, speaking of requels, what did I think of the new Scream? Okay, real quick pause for Scream, because I've not written a review or really commented publicly. During our travels, we did see Scream. We saw it actually opening night, preview night, Thursday night. Saw it at a cool theater where we could eat, drink alcohol. It was awesome. And I went to the fan event, because this theater where we were at in New Orlando, they actually had multiple Thursday night screenings, but one at 8 p.m. was the fan event screening with the live Q&A live stream after the film with the two directors, Matt and Tyler, and David Arquette and Kevin Williamson. It was the same price as the regular screening, so I was like, hell yeah! So my wife, my son, and I, we went, and it was great. It was great. I love the new screen. I really enjoyed it. I'm excited to see it again. Honestly, you guys know how much emphasis I put on the rewatch value. And that's something the original Scream, it has endless rewatch value for me personally. I get sucked in every time I see it just on basic cable or something. I especially that opening scene. It's just I think it's Wes Craven's masterpiece, and he's made a lot of masterpieces, but for me that's his ultimate masterpiece in my opinion. I know most people argue no, it's Elm Street that's his masterpiece in my opinion. I think it's a total masterpiece, the original. And I love all the films, the whole franchise. I've seen them all in a theater. So needless to say, I was super excited going in, and I was not disappointed. I really enjoyed it. The more I've thought about it afterward, I've really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I was not disappointed. I think it's probably my favorite of the sequels. I think it's my favorite after the original. And I really like Scream 4 too. I was one that really enjoyed that, especially the final act when it just the killers are revealed in Act 3 and it just goes nuts, as it always does in Act 3. But I really enjoyed that, and that's another little video I'll have coming up because while we were in Wilmington, we did drive by one of the Scream locations just for the hell of it. We're gonna go back there and spend some real time sometime and be tourists there and really enjoy the town because we did really like it, and we were just on our way home. And we're there for like an afternoon and a morning, but lots of cool stuff coming from our time there. First, though, I'm going to talk about our time in Savannah. Like I said, just over a week ago, we got to Savannah, Georgia, and I knew from casting calls that filming was starting last Friday before last, and it would be ongoing from there. I didn't know when the principal actors were getting there or anything, but I knew when at least some filming was going to be happening. Didn't really know locations or anything. Once we got there, some stuff did surface online. I was able to find a couple addresses where they're going to be filming, where they're actually filming this week, like as in right now, tonight, this evening. That's where they're filming. And so we're going to take a look at some of that here in just a minute. As you know, this was before Jamie Lee Curtis got on set. And again, we didn't get on set. And just so you know that I'm trying, I mean, yeah, I did try to pull the few strings that I have with certain people and just to try to, see it. And the bottom line is, right now, unfortunately, with the big COVID, everything is more strict than ever. So, it's like, no playing around on the film set. This is pretty much the only film set really shooting right now that I know of. So they got to be real careful for obvious reasons. So obviously we didn't make it on a set, and we weren't even there when they were actually shooting. We were there actually ahead of cameras. But it was fun to go to some of these locations, just get an idea of what the new Haddonfield's going to look like. And I got to say, it looks pretty good, like Haddonfield. It does kind of look like Haddonfield. This is one of the. Let me pull this up for you. I think you might have seen this house that we shared. Hang on. this house. Oh, no, not that. You might have seen this. This was one of the first images. This is our image. This is a photo I took in Savannah. And this house is one of the locations where they're going to be shooting, where they are shooting, scheduled to be shooting this week. Again, I'm not there. I can't say exactly what's happening, but according to the schedule we saw, filming would be happening at and around this location, specifically this address, the house at this address. Now, you can see down in the right-hand corner of that photo, that is a camera crane. I've seen a few other photos that have surfaced of this house since we left. There's been more activity there and on that street where they're going to be filming. As I said in a previous video, that house was just recently painted. Because if you Google it and see the Zillow listings and basically any of the other photos of this house that have been online prior to this photo, prior to a little over a week ago, it's not this color, but this is absolutely the same house. It was painted this striking red, I believe, for the production. And again, this is just one of many locations, but whether or not somebody significant lives in this house, who knows? And in a minute, I'll show you a few other shots of some of the neighboring houses because they are ripe for filming too. First up, though, here is a close-up of that camera crane. There it is. And again, that was a few days ago when we were there, and we did go back constantly while we were in the area for a few nights. We actually went back later this same night to get some night shots. I'll show you in a minute. We also went back. We went back at some point each day. We basically started and ended each of our days in Savannah at or around this location. But it was pretty quiet, unfortunately, again, during the time we were there, which I knew we were a little bit ahead of the production. Now, here I'm going to pull up another house. This one is kind of across the street, but there was definitely some activity going on here too. I don't know if they were just notifying the residents or if this might be one they're going to be shooting at too. But as you can see, it definitely looks kind of creepy, kind of Haddonfield-y. And here is a sidewalk, a Haddonfield sidewalk. Now tell me that doesn't look a little bit like Haddonfield. Yeah, I was, was pleasantly pleased and kind of surprisingly pleased at how well the neighborhood does kind of look like Haddonfield. And here, I just took this one because you can kind of see where they painted the front part of the fence white. They left the back part unpainted the way it was before. It looks like they kind of trimmed some of the neighbors' trees there as well. Again, I don't know that very much at all will necessarily be shot at this particular house, but we know they're going to be doing some stuff in the area regardless. Oh yeah, and then the night shot I was going to show you. Yeah, and here's a night shot of the house. Porch light was on the whole time, and that one light up in that bedroom. All right, so what I'm going to do now, because this is Michael Myers Monday, is we're going to look at a little bit. This is just some of my raw video, and there's not really any audio. It's going to be put out here on the channel in a more edited form here in the next day or so. But here's a little bit of the raw video that I shot while we were there, just to give you an idea. Again, I've seen some things online. A few comments said, "No, that's not Halloween Ends. That's the house on Halloween 5." And no, this I see how you might get those vibes, but there's that crane rig here looking across the street from it. It was very rainy the day we were there, as you can see. All right, let's see. Halloween Ends update says, so excited. You and me too. Larry Moore Jr. says, oh wow, definitely 78 vibes. Absolutely. David Suber says the left side of the red house kind of looks like the Wallace house. Yeah, kind of. Also the white porch. Let's see. Lisa says definitely looks like 78 Haddonfield. Ario has checked in. What's up? Happy Michael Myers Monday. All right, let's see. I got a couple more of these clips to show you guys. Again, this is never before seen footage, guys. World premiering it right here for you. Summit says this kind of seems like Ends might have a Zombie H2 vibe to the story. Years after the Halloween Massacre, a dramatic story, Andy living with a new family like Scout and H2. All of that is very possible. Yeah, I don't know plot points any more than you do. I mean, we know that Lindsay is back. We're going to talk about that official photo that was released here in just a minute and what we can discern from that. All right, now here's that house across the street, just because it looks kind of creepy. Just in case they do some shooting there. Yeah, and I mean, this is mid-January, but it was pretty cool to see all the leaves everywhere. They don't have to ship those in. And a night shot of the same house. Who's in that bedroom? Nobody that night. Now, here I just wanted to show you, these are a couple other angles of another location that we found the address for, according to notices sent to neighboring property owners, saying that filming would be happening in the area and that these areas of the road were going to be closed for filming. So again, I don't know if these exact streets are going to be used, but this street looking this way from this corner uh, is closed this week for filming. So very possible that we get again, that could look very much like Haddonfield, the sidewalks. Those neighbors over there, I believe they were talking about the production happening in their neighborhood. And here we are at the other end of that same street, looking the other way, in case they shoot from that angle. And just another shot of that street from a different angle. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I think it all looks very much like Haddonfield to me. I think it could work. I feel good. I've seen some other images surface since we were there of this area. Some Halloween decorations have been added. And that's something else that we can talk a little bit about. Now, I'm not gonna share the casting page. I mean, it's out there, it's publicly. I'm not gonna share it here just because I don't want it to get clogged up with, basically people like us, because it's supposed to be for people actually, getting work as extras and everything. But it's out there. You'll find it if you know what you're looking for. But what I can tell you is, yeah, according to many of the casting notices, some of the stuff that we've seen just recently, specifically, they were looking for a couple. The male is going to play a an alien character, or an astronaut, in costume as an astronaut. I mean, not playing astronaut. He's going to be costumed as an astronaut, and the female is going to be an alien, um, his alien date. These are just some of the extra parts that are getting cast. We've seen numerous casting calls for families, specifically young trick or treaters. So I know there was a few comments early on. I even saw one comment somewhere along the way wondering if are they not even going to set this film on Halloween? Uh, that's nonsense. It's definitely taking place on and around Halloween. Yeah, all the casting calls involve people in costumes. Oh, and of course the normal paramedics and doctor types that you'd expect for one of these movies. But yeah, definitely trick or treaters. One of the most interesting casting calls I saw, which is also going to be shooting this week, is a bar scene where they were looking for lots of bar patrons, but the coolest is they were looking for a death metal band to be playing in the bar. So it sounds like Allison, maybe somebody is going to be going to a death metal show in Haddonfield, and I can't wait to see that. Um, Also on Halloween Ends, right before production began, you probably saw some headlines on some other sites. We didn't run anything because, again, I was out of town, and also by the time it became feasible for us to report on something, the source tweets had been deleted. And I think you know what I'm talking about. An actor named Michael O'Leary has joined the cast of Halloween Ends, according to tweets that he posted and then soon deleted. Uh, but in those tweets, he said that he is playing a character named Dr. Mathis. And I think you guys probably know this already, but Dr. Mathis is, of course, mentioned in Halloween Kills, when our friends Carmela and Michael, as Marcus and Vanessa, are talking in the very early parts of the film when they're first introduced at the bar, at Nick's bar in the film, The Rusty Nail. They, they're talking about how Marcus's boss was disrespectful to them. And Carmela says, you need to go in there and basically give Dr. Mathis a piece of your mind tomorrow. And she mentions him by name, Dr. Mathis. So that's who he's playing. A lot of people, again, I've seen various headlines in recent weeks, you know, of who this doctor character may be, how important he may be. I've seen some headlines here on YouTube of, is this the new Dr. Loomis or something like that. Again, apparently the novelization goes into much more detail about this character. I haven't completed reading the novelization yet. I plan to, and I'll let you know what's in there once I finish it. But again, I don't think, I mean, it could be anything knowing David Gordon Green. It doesn't surprise me at all, knowing what we know about David Gordon Green, that he's bringing back a character just mentioned fleetingly by two of our characters in the last film. That makes perfect sense. How big of a role this character is going to have, again, it's all speculation right now, but I don't imagine it's going to be that big, and certainly not a Dr. Loomis type character. I mean, if you haven't noticed, the irony and the thing that makes Laurie's line so great when she tells Sartain in 2018, "Oh, you're the new Loomis." The genius of that line is, no, Laurie is the new Loomis. Laurie's totally the new Loomis. She was the new Loomis in 2018. She's still the new Loomis. She's the new Loomis for these movies. Absolutely, 100%. She's the new Loomis. And she's all the Loomis we need in these movies. She is our Loomis character. So, again, how big of a role Dr. Mathis will have, I don't know. It's 4 years later. Obviously, it's a Halloween movie. People are going to be hurt. People are going to be in a hospital. Doctors are going to be called. But, is he going to have a huge role in the film? I kind of doubt it. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's obvious that this film is going to, come in. David Gordon Green has said that he's going to bring it in to a smaller, more intimate level for this third chapter. He said that he wanted to get big and operatic with the whole community in Kills, and for Ends, it's going to be smaller, more intimate, and I think that is a perfect way to bring us to this photo that was released. It's going to be about these three, Hawkins too, I imagine, and but that's really going to be at the heart of our story. I don't imagine we're going to be spending a ton of time with new characters. Not to say we're not going to get some new characters. I think we absolutely will. We know David Gordon Green likes doing this, and again, somebody else from the previous films could be brought back. Personally, my fingers are crossed for our friends Salem and Giselle as the two of the kids. We know Gavin probably didn't make it out real well, but their characters, Christy and Mindy, they go running off when Lindsay tells them to run. They leave their silver shamrock mask there, and Michael does go across that bridge. Maybe he found them later that night. I like to think they got away, and we're going to catch up with them 4 years later. Knowing David Gordon Green, I wouldn't put it past him at all. Before I get to this image, this first official image, I do want to jump over here onto Instagram for just a minute. Eliza says Michael has to smell funky. 4 years just out and about. Yeah. And what has he been doing for these 4 years? I know that's been a lot of people wondering. The big question, right? What's he been doing for 4 years, and why does he come back 4 years later? I don't know these answers. I don't really want to know these answers, but if I'm in the writer's room, if somebody asks my opinion just as a Halloween enthusiast, the quickest answer I could come up with that's kind of hard to argue with is maybe Haddonfield just banned Halloween for the last 3 years. especially given the pandemic and everything happening in real world events, and then the massacre that just happened. And maybe, you know, this is the year 2022. They're trying to bring it back a little bit. That could conceivably bring Michael back to Haddonfield, I would think, after that time. That might be a reason. Um, in that Twitter watch party last month, the extended cut watch party, David Gordon Green responded to a fan question if we're going to see more of the Myers house, and he said that Laurie Strode bulldozed it to the ground after the events of Halloween Kills. And there's some debate. A lot of people think he's joking. A lot of people think he's serious. David Gordon Green definitely is a jokester. He definitely, likes to have fun with people. But in this case, I kind of feel like he might be telling us the truth. I mean, honestly, with this Laurie Strode, after the events of Halloween Kills, what do you think she would do on November 1st? Or at least a few days later? I mean, I kind of think she would have that house bulldozed to the ground, and I think she would absolutely have to be the one to drive that bulldozer. Larry says, poor Allison lost her friends, boyfriend, father-in-law, and her mother, possibly her grandmother, too. Courtney E. Fashion Designer says, I hope Lori and Frank end up married. He was Karen's dad, Allison's grandpa. That's right. They have not revealed that he was definitely Karen's dad. That is something else that brings me back to the commentary track. Because Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis is on the track, and she says that her initial feeling when they cast Will Patton as Frank in 2018, she wanted at that time to say that Frank is Karen's dad. And so Jamie Lee Curtis felt that was the deal in 2018. And then she read the script for Kills, and it was David and Danny and Scott Teams, the co-writing team, who changed it when they're in the hospital. And he says, we kissed and nothing else happened. And Jamie Lee talks in the commentary about really liking that aspect and making it much more sweet and kind of this unrequited love that was never really realized between them, but maybe will be now. I agree with you. Maybe will be now. Or is there something we don't know that's still to be revealed? We'll find out. Yeah, Courtney says, I think she probably did tear it down or reversal and lives in it. She might have tore it down and put that red house there and lives there now, maybe. Let's see here. Summit says he could be living out in the wild like Michael Myers in Zombies H2. Very, very possible. All right, let me jump over to my Instagram here for just a second. The HDN Instagram account. I've been collecting just a few of these posts from some of our friends who, again, are in Savannah right now working on the film. Now, this was just a few days. Well, it was while we were out of town, January 20th, and there you see Nick Castle. He was packing for Savannah. And I'm collecting these in a highlights story highlight collection on our IG page. You can find that. There's that red house photo that I took out there in Savannah at the new Haddonfield. Jamie Lee Curtis, her first day on set, old dog, new tricks. She posted a selfie, as she's done every day on her first day on the set of these films. And then this, we get an official photo from set photographer Ryan Green, David Gordon Green's brother. of Lori, Lindsay, and Allison. We're going to talk about that in just a second. Jamie shared this one just the other day. Says, yep, it's a Halloween movie. And if you can't see that, it's a whole lot of pumpkins right there. Love to see that. And just a few days ago, today's birthday boy himself, the man, James Jude Courtney, reported for duty in Savannah. There he is with our buddy Christopher Nelson. James says, we're back. The shape and the shape maker. And just earlier today, producer Ryan Freeman shared this photo, calling it office supplies. And you can see some of the Halloween decorations, jack-o'-lanterns, and various props that they're using for filming. So once again, if you're worried that Halloween Ends may not take place on and around Halloween, well, don't worry, it does. Yes, Halloween Ends is a Halloween movie, believe it or not, as if that needs to be said. And if that's not enough, we've got even more. Let me pull this up right over here. I did do a quick video about this the other day, but Nick had to clarify some articles, and I did see this. I saw, because we had said, I had told you guys as early as last year, during these lives, I had said Savannah, that it was looking like that's where they were going. I said for a while it looked like Wilmington, because it did look that way. And then by October, it was looking very much like it was going to be Savannah. Everything was made official once it hit the Savannah Film Commission's website. And once that article from the Atlanta Constitution was published, a bunch of people picked up on that article. And in that article, it correctly stated that Halloween Ends filming under the working title of Cave Dweller. All that is true. It is Cave Dweller, not Cave Dwellers. That was Michael O'Leary just making a little mistake. It's Cave Dweller, singular. Yeah, all that is factual. But it states at the end of that article that Nick Castle returns to play Michael Myers, which is not, exactly false, but it's also not the whole truth. I mean, where's the mention of James? And I saw that article, and I commented to my wife at the time. I was like, "This is fucked up." Well, Nick, being the class act that he is, tweeted this out just a few days ago, sharing that article, and he says in his tweet, unfortunately, this and other recent articles on the production of Halloween Ends mistakenly think I am playing Michael Myers. The talented James Jude Courtney will once again play MM. I'll have a fun cameo, but let's give credit where credit is due. Amen. Yeah, Nick will be there. He'll film a cameo just as he has in the other two. He'll perform the breathing in ADR just as he has in the other two. It'll be great. He is spiritually there, giving guidance, and both, metaphorically and literally, as James said in our most recent interview, Nick's breathing life into the shape. But James is our Michael Myers. Nick also posted this photo. Actually, Nick shared it, but Kyle Richards posted it first. It's pretty funny. She says, can you believe this happened by chance? This was Kyle and Nick flying to where? To Savannah together. Pretty funny that they ended up on the same plane, sitting next to each other. The great Christopher Nelson reposted this photo that Jamie Lee Curtis had shared. He tags the three actresses with the text, "Let's end this." And another one from Kyle Richards' story. Here, the Lori and Lindsay chairs on set. As some of you have pointed out and noticed, rightfully, Lindsay is misspelled. That's not how they spell Lindsay Wallace's name in these films. It is with an EY, not an AY. So, Universal, Blumhouse, whoever was in charge of that, got to get that right. Now, it is interesting to note, as we turn our attention back to this photo here, that it seems from watching Kyle Richards' social media that she has already come and gone. She was only on set for like a day or two. It appears. It doesn't mean that she won't be back. It doesn't mean anything other than she was only there a day or two from what we can gather. And of course, social media is not always the most factual source to be getting information from to begin with. So that's but what we did get this week, the big news is this official photo of 3 of our survivors of Michael Myers' attack in 2018. Now, let's go into this photo and discuss a little bit, shall we? First of all, sorry, I'm just reading some of your comments. Ken says Michael lives in a bunker. Let's see. Dark Small Chat World is checked in. Happy Michael Myers Monday. Byron says Lindsay with an EY, not AY. That's right. Courtney says, I wonder if the pumpkins were used for the filming of the opening title credits for HNs. I also wonder how many pumpkins will be in the opening credits for HNs. I didn't expect so many for kills. Yes, it was 12 for kills, 1 for each of the films. And again, David Gordon Green said that it kind of was meant to symbolize a bit of the mob mentality that we'd be seeing in that film play out. So yeah, I am very curious. I thought they've done great with the opening credit sequences of these last 2 films. All right, let's dig into this photo for a second. First of all, my first thought was, well, that looks familiar. It looks like the bar that we were just at, because when this photo was released, like the day before, we were just at the Rusty Nail, which doubled as Mick's Bar in Halloween Kills. That's located in Wilmington. This, of course, was shot in Savannah. It's not literally the same bar. It's not the same location. I don't believe it's meant to double as the same bar. We'll see if this is supposed to be Mick's Bar again. I'm guessing it's a different bar. Not surprising that we see our survivors at a bar, though. I mean, that's that's where we saw our survivors in the last film, and yeah, they've certainly earned a drink. I do appreciate the pumpkin in the background, just over Lindsay's shoulder. I'd appreciate it even more if it was carved. And Courtney is right that all those pumpkins in that photo that Jamie Lee Curtis shared, you're very right. They might be the ones used for the HN's credits sequence. That's a very good point. Byron says, are Andy's nails black? If so, what's the meaning of that? Ken says, witchcraft. All right, well, we can zoom in, and I did do this because I noticed, just being a photographer and a weirdo, I guess, I did notice that there was something off about the hand placement there, and there was some extra, so I really had to look at what was going on, and kind of try to figure that out. And yes, what we're looking at, it appears, yeah, that's Andy's black fingernails, and it's kind of a weird angle because her right arm, she's got her left arm there on Lori's left arm, and then her right arm would have to be kind of under that arm and there on the bar. But if you look in that, yeah, that looks like a pinky finger, and so it looks like a right hand. Uh, Otherwise, because at one point I thought, is that Kyle's hand kind of reaching over there? And then I thought too, is this a Photoshop? Did they Photoshop this and leave those fingers in there by accident? Is somebody like not here, not the way they're positioned or something? Because if you remember, Lindsay did have, I don't know if they were black per se, but they were dark fingernails in Halloween Kills when she's ripping Michael's mask off. So it kind of made me think it might be her for a second, but no, I think you're right, Byron, that is Andy's hand apparently, and yeah, black fingernails. I don't know what that symbolizes. I mean, her hair looks a little bit darker. I think, obviously it's 4 years later, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not in mourning still. I think, if you're going to go through something that Allison's gone through, like what she's gone through in 2018, then yeah, you're gonna be in mourning for a while. So maybe a darker hairstyle, wearing black and black fingernails might kind of symbolize that, not so subtly, or it might just be a weird coincidence. Who knows? I do think Lori looks, sunnier and better than when we met her in 2018. I mean, she's lightened her hair up. We can go back to that first image that that Laurie Strode, or that Jamie Lee Curtis shared, and I was gonna try to pull it up here, but that's too much work right now, so we're just not gonna do that. But anyway, you can see her hair. It's a new hairdo. It's a lighter hairdo, a little sunnier. Does that mean Laurie's handling this, a little bit better now? I can't imagine so, but I mean, it might just be that stylistically they want to recall, a little bit more of the Laurie Strode of '78. Kyle, of course, got the bangs, Lindsay's bangs, and very glad that they brought her back. I don't know what her chances are of making it through the end of ends, or any of the three of these. To be honest, it's going to be tough. You can see that they got the bowl of chips in front of them, so I think they've been chipping it up. Maybe there is an empty glass of wine there, right next to Kyle. And yeah, none of them look too happy. They're not really smiling. They mean business. So I don't think there's a whole lot we can pull from this image plot wise, other than our three leading ladies. They look great. They mean business, and yeah, it is great to see their new looks 4 years later. And just great to see them all back on set. But what do you guys think about this image? I saw somebody point out in a photo comparison that Laurie's jacket is either the same or at least very similar to the one that Allison was wearing in the last film, I believe. Found that pretty interesting. Larry says they're planning on how to kill Michael. Makes sense. Yes, Alexander. There was a mention of a metal band in a bar. Yep, I said that they were casting a death metal band to play at a bar scene. This could be the bar from the last film, but I mean, it's not literally filmed at the same place. It doesn't mean they couldn't recreate that bar on a different set. But I just feel like maybe it's a different bar this time. Yeah, David says wearing black too, still mourning. Yeah. Yeah. Eliza says Kyle's nails were blackish purplish. Yeah, we definitely see her nose ring from kills. That's right. Yep. Ah, rabbit and red. That's a good guess, Alexander. We've not caught up with what the rabbit and red looks like now. And damn if it is not a pretty red background behind them. That's a good point. Could be the rabbit and red. I like that theory. Ken says Jamie looks good with her hair relaxed. Yeah, I mean, Lori looks the most relaxed here. And I've got just a small theory. I don't know. It's not even really a theory, but because I know a lot of people are talking about or worried to some extent about how much real life events might influence the story and how much COVID's going to play into it and everything. I mean, my personal feeling, I kind of was like, well, what would this Laurie Strode in these movies after 2018 happens? And then, the real life events that have happened in 2020 in the last 2 years happen. I kind of feel like maybe for Laurie, she'd find a new mission with COVID, with volunteering, and helping the community in that way. And that kind of be her new boogeyman in a way, and one that even though she can't beat it any more than she can beat Michael, she can at least kind of feel like she's making some kind of difference. And maybe while it's wearing down on everybody else, for her it's actually giving her some sense of strength and purpose, and in the face of obviously what is not a uh very easy situation to say that you want to go on and but I do like the idea that they're discussing how to take out Michael. Again, it just begs the question: where's he been for 4 years? Um, Literally dwelling in a cave. You think? No, I don't think it. I don't think it's anything that literal. Although Mob Rules was pretty literal, the working title there, and Uncle Orange. You can read into that what you want. That was the working title of 2018. So I don't know, but no, I mean, I'm not going to read much into the black fingernails. I think it's just probably, at the end of the day, a stylistic thing. I think it's just, their new look. Andy's dressed in all black. I mean, yeah, could that symbolize mourning? Sure. I mean, it's 4 years later, but yeah, I imagine going through something like that is not something that you really recover from anytime soon, if ever, So, uh, but I really like the image. I think it's a great first image to be released. Um, you know, this is our survivors group here, and there's not many survivors left. Somebody did comment on our social media, "Where's Hawkins?" And I have to echo that too. I have not heard confirmation that Will Patton is back as Frank Hawkins, but come on, he's got to be, right? We got to have more Hawkins. Byron likes Allison's new look. Absolutely. Yeah, I think they all look great. Ariel asked what I think will happen at the radio tower. Again, I don't know if you're here earlier. I did mention the radio tower. I don't have a big grand theory other than what to me could be the most obvious thing. Maybe Lori goes there. Maybe it's the biggest radio tower in all of Haddonfield. It's the one where you can listen to other states, and she goes there and just listens to the scanner, maybe every day, or maybe just every day in October. But she goes there and listens for Michael, something that suggests that Michael is back, because yeah, she's waiting for him there at Haddonfield, but maybe now she's expanding that search, and that's the key to the radio tower. And maybe she's trying to hear something at some point. Uh, Again, pure speculation. I could be way off, but that just seems like an easy thing. And again, I still don't put a whole lot into like this. This is going to be like the plot point that turns the whole movie. Um, but it it is interesting that David Gordon Green made sure to digitally include that in those shots in the beginning of Halloween Kills. Undeniable that that it's interesting and worth pondering. But I'm not going to go overboard in my predictions on that. I think it's probably at the end of the day going to be something as simple as that. What else is a radio tower used for? I mean, will a showdown happen there or something? Will that be tied into some mythology? Is that sending some weird sonic airwaves that wake Michael up 4 years later? Is that where Silver Shamrock's sending their signal out from? That radio tower? I doubt all of that is the case. Although that last one with Silver Shamrock, yeah, I'd totally be there for that. All right, it is after midnight, guys. So, Dirk Jason Hall says Michael took that picture. That's a good one. I like that. That is funny. All right, it is getting late, guys. So before we wrap it up, we're going to do a couple shout outs. But before I get to that, I promised you a world premiere preview of a new interview. And I haven't even told you who that interview is with. And her name has come up a couple times tonight, as a matter of fact. So we're going to do that right now without further ado. Just a few days ago, just this past Friday, I had the pleasure of chatting with Scout Compton, who you all know as Laurie Strode, of course, from Rob Zombie's Halloween 07 remake and its sequel, Halloween 2, released in 09. We had a great conversation. Scout is really cool and, of course, super talented. You guys that are regulars here, you know what a fan I am of her work and of those films, to be honest. I talk about it all the time. So I understand they're not for everybody. Hey, I'm not trying to, convert anybody, but I'm just, being honest with you. Yeah, we had a great interview. This is actually our first interview of 2022, and Scout's somebody I've wanted to talk to for years now. We've met a few times over the years at various events, and have communicated kind of off the record a couple times. But so it was exciting. It was exciting for me, of course, as it always is, to get to interview somebody new from this franchise and somebody that whose work I admire and I've wanted to talk to for some time. Now, the full interview will drop this Wednesday, and I urge you to check it out there. Now, in the interview, we talk, of course, about the Halloween films and about Halloween, the holiday itself. But we talk about lots of other stuff as well. We talk about the Runaways, and we talk about Scout's early work working as a child actor on Jay Leno's Tonight Show with Brie Larson, and just all kinds of cool stuff, and her journey from child actor to Haddonfield, being only the second person in history, in cinematic history, to play the iconic character of Laurie Strode. And then from Haddonfield to now. Looking back, it's 15 years now since the Halloween remake. So it's a great time to kind of do a retrospective and look back at those films. And it's great to start with the star, with Scout. And so I really appreciate her coming on here and talking to us and really being really honest and just forthright with her stories. She's got a lot of great stories from the set of both films. And of course, we talk about her new podcast that she recently launched with Danielle Harris. It's called Talk Scary to Me. I subscribe to it. I listen to it every week. It's great. You should be listening to it if you're not already. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to premiere a clip from this interview. And in this clip, this is fairly early on in the interview when we talk about getting the role of Laurie Strode and those early days of auditioning and what that process was like, and then finding out that she's got the role, and how that would go on to affect her life forevermore. It'd be never the same again. So here we go. Here's a world premiere clip from my exclusive new interview with Scout Taylor Compton. You mentioned that growing up you were somewhat familiar. You mentioned that growing up you were somewhat familiar with Michael Myers. So by the time Halloween '07 comes along, um, how familiar were you at that point? Had you seen the original film or any of the other films? I mean, were you at all familiar with the franchise or John Carpenter's original?
So I had seen the movie, like my mom had shown me the movie when I was like in
Mm-hmm.
my teens, like early
Mm-hmm.
teens, because she'd show me The Exorcist, she'd show me like Texas Chainsaw Massacres, all these movies,
Yeah.
but it wasn't something that I like remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I didn't really realize. I mean, I was 17 years old when I was auditioning for all these movies, and it was the Untitled Rob Zombie project, and I kind of learned very fast how massive the horror genre family fan base was.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize how massive that was a thing. Because I was just making movies. I don't know why I never thought of the fandom, like the fan base around it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when I discovered that, when that love for this genre, and especially for the Halloween franchise, the Michael Myers franchise, was when people started comparing me to Jamie Lee Curtis when I booked it. And that it was a bunch of mixed feelings, and one thing I did was, after the process, after I realized what the fuck it was,
Yeah.
when I booked it, I started freaking out. Everyone was like, Jamie Lee Curtis, this girl's gonna suck. She's gonna tank. Like it just like all these cruel things at
Yeah.
17. And I remember I popped in the movie like almost one of the days before one of the days before filming. Um, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to be like this woman. Like I'm going to let all these people down. And I remember I walked on set, and, Rob had read everything that was going on, and he kind of pulled me aside, and he was like, I cast you for a reason. I didn't cast Jamie Lee Curtis. I cast you. Like, this is your Jamie,
Right.
your Lori. So I was like, okay, all right, well, I've got to like let that nervousness go away, a bit. But I kind of got a fast knowledge of the franchise and the fan base before the first day of filming. So I was kind of prepped and ready, and just like, just worked my hardest just to kind of, let that all go, and just, play Lori how I saw her and how I felt. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, it definitely is a great performance. And can you talk to us a little bit about that, getting the role? Like the auditioning process, like what was that like? Because again, like you said at the beginning, it was the Untitled Rob Zombie project. I imagine at the early stages you didn't even realize it was the Halloween remake at that point. You just knew it was Rob Zombie's next film.
Yeah. So Rob doesn't like to meet actors in person. He likes to watch self-tapes. So that's initially what it was a self-tape. Okay. And the self-tape went in, and I didn't hear anything for like a month. And then finally I heard that, they wanted to have me do a chemistry read. So I was like, whoa, that just like sped up. So I went and did a chemistry read, and I remember I went to this office in LA, and I was sitting on the couch, and I just look up, and there's just this huge wall of just photos of everybody that's been cast in the movie. Everyone's been cast in the movie except for Laurie Strode. So, and then I see my photo just right in the middle, and it was the most like surreal thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I had not, I didn't really know Rob Zombie. I knew that prior I had watched Devil's Rejects on a set, and I remember saying out loud, "I'm going to work with that director one day." That was like the only thing I knew. I didn't know what he looked like. I didn't know anything. And all I see is like these I'm like looking down because I'm like super nervous, and I'm just like looking at my lines and hoping that I don't fuck this up. And I just all of a sudden I just see these massive boots, and I'm just like, it's like a movie. I just like look up, and there's like 70s like jeans and like punk shirt and then beard and hair, and I'm just like, who the fuck is this guy? I was like, this guy's so cool. And he's like, hey, I'm Ron, you want to come on in? And so we did this read with the the cinematographer like filming, and I'm just like on the ground like acting with like an assistant. And then all of a sudden Danielle Harris comes in, and I'm like, hey, how are you? I don't know who you are, but what's up? And and then I like instantly realized who she was. I remembered her from the Halloween movies and Wish Upon a Star. So I was just like, what the fuck is happening? And so and then I read with her, and then I left, and it was the craziest feeling. And I left like, every day I was like, did we hear anything? Did we hear anything? And then nothing happened for a bit. And then finally, after a few weeks, I got another call for another chemistry read. And I was like, okay. So I go in. This time they're prepping. Like they're getting all the looks together for everybody. So everybody's in there. And I remember I took a van with Dee Wallace, and she was like, they really fucking like you, don't they? And I was like, yeah, I hope so. She's like, yeah, they really fucking like you. That was like the only thing she ever said to me. And, they dropped her off to do screen testing. And then I met up with Christina Klebe and Danielle Harris. And this is my hair is red, like I have extensions in. And they're like, let's just walk and talk and do another screen test. And so we did that. And then I went home. And then I think it was like 2 or 3 days later, I found out that I got the part, changed my hair, it was crazy. It was insane. But I did find out from Rob that I was the first self-tape that Rob saw. Okay. And the only one that he wanted. Wow. Which is super special. Like, honestly, I mean, he's just, I admire him so much. And I think everything that he does is just such a cool, unique experience. So it was definitely unique getting it, and the experience itself was rad. Honestly, like that whole experience just changed my life.
Yeah. Like I said, my full interview with Scout will premiere this Wednesday. That's February 2nd. It's Groundhog Day, right? Yeah, it should be up in the morning, 10:31 a.m. here on the channel. Before I forget, I'll say it now. I'll probably say it again later, but go ahead and subscribe if you happen to be watching this and you haven't already and you don't want to miss that interview. Because if you like Scout, if you're a fan like we are, then you definitely don't want to miss the rest of the interview. We talk much more about Halloween 07. Of course, we talk about Halloween 2 and lots more, like I said. You're not going to want to miss it. And again, huge thank you to Scout for spending the time with us. Always a pleasure getting to catch up with her. And she is involved in a lot of really cool current and upcoming projects in addition to the podcast. She's got a new film coming out this Friday called The Long Night. And yes, Ariel, you are right. In the live chat, she is a part of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game. And we do talk a little bit about that. She can't say a whole lot about it quite yet because it's still a little early on that. But we do touch on that, and that is one of the many awesome projects that she's involved in coming up this year. And pretty cool, too, to have been a part of this iconic franchise and now stepping in to yet another iconic franchise with Chainsaw. Halloween and Chainsaw, it doesn't get much bigger than those two. By the way, speaking of Chainsaw, just a few hours before we went live here, I did publish my breakdown of the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre trailer. It's a breakdown, and I guess you could call it my reaction. I don't do the live reactions, but I did want to share that with you because I could not be more excited for the new Chainsaw movie. It's Michael's night, so we're not going to talk about it, but it is Leatherface's day as well because that trailer looks badass. If you're excited for it like I am, or if not, just want to hear me yap about it, check that trailer breakdown out here. Excuse me, here on the HDN YouTube channel after we're done here. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Dirk says, I always felt like Zombie could direct a Texas Chainsaw, but let someone else write the dialogue. I would love to see that. David says, nice, Matt. Thank you, sir. Ariel says, can't wait to see it. Great content, Matt. Thank you. Dirk says, it would be cool to see her in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, we're going to see her in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game, which is going to be pretty cool. It's extra cool, too, because if you remember, Christina Klebe, her co-star from Rob's Halloween, was also one of the camp counselors in the Friday the 13th game. So that's kind of cool. Of course, the same Gun Media made both games. We'll be talking more about that Chainsaw game when that gets closer, I feel like. That's going to be fun for the whole community. So yeah, you don't want to miss that if you're a fan of Scouts like I am, or if you're just a fan of this franchise. I mean, she is a huge part of the franchise. Say what you want about those movies. I mean, she does a great job acting in them. I think she always does a great job acting. And man, their podcast, that new podcast, it is really fun and really cool. And I think they're probably gonna help a lot of people too. That's part of what they're doing there. So we talk about all that in the interview. It's a great, fun interview. I'm very proud of it, as I always am. You guys know I get excited. I'm very proud of these interviews. I enjoy. It took me a while to kind of come around to the Zoom format, but thanks to kind of doing this stuff with you guys, I've kind of come around to it to where now I kind of prefer it. It's kind of my preferred way to interview people now, and so yeah, I'm excited to share that one with you in just 2 days from now. Now it is getting late. I'm about to get out of here, but before we do that, we're gonna do some Triple M shout outs real quick, just a couple. And as you guys know, if you forgot, I'll repeat it. Way back in October 2013, I created the hashtag Michael Myers Monday. It had never been used on Twitter, Instagram, anywhere I looked. There were no tweets with that hashtag. I've still got the first tweet filed away. I could share it with you if you want. Since then, every single week, we post the hashtag, and it's grown. It keeps growing. 9 years now, it's growing. And there's always fun and interesting content out there. A lot of it, I try to see all of it. I try to retweet and repost as much as I can and reshare stuff on the IG stories. But there's tons of stuff that I miss. There's GIFs and memes and there's so many funny things. And sometimes it's people showing off their collections or their cosplays or their autographs and people they've met. Whatever it is, it's always fun to see. Sometimes it's inspirational, like Attack Monday, the way Michael attacks. But sometimes it's like Monday's Michael attacking you. And we all know how that feels too. Anyway, these are just a couple tweets and Instagram posts I pulled today. Again, not necessarily mean they're the best or anything like that. It's just a couple I pulled because we don't have time to do all of them. But check out the hashtag on your socials. Use the hashtag. And now we're going to go over to Twitter. This is from Hopple at Munchkin Crispy. Wishing our buddy James Jude Courtney happy birthday. One of the best Michael Myers we've seen on screen in our lifetime. Have a beautiful and wonderful day. Stay hydrated and keep on doing the work you do best. Hashtag Michael Myers Monday. and some shots of James as the shape and behind the scenes. I like a lot about this tweet. First of all, one of the best Michael Myers we've seen on screen in our lifetime. Um, I I can't argue with that. I call him the ultimate Michael Myers. I James. I feel like James is to Michael Myers what Kane is to Jason. I feel like James, especially in Halloween Kills, that's ultimate Michael Myers. So I can't argue with that. Of course, I don't know how old this person is. When they say they're our lifetime, they might mean in the last 15 years. Um, but I do appreciate that they say stay hydrated and keep on doing the work you do best. I like the stay hydrated part. That's pretty funny. Still here on Twitter. Another one from Hopple, Munchkin Crispy. Look at that. How did he get in here twice? If my attorney doesn't wear this to court, I don't want him. And I don't know how he got his whole mask and coveralls into a courtroom, but there you go. Representing the Halloween verse this week is Tina Williams at Tina Will H5. You know Tina from Halloween 5. Talking about one of my favorite characters from Halloween 5, Mikey. Because how many times have you watched a slasher where one of the kids, one of the victims' names is the same as the killer's? I just love that we had a killer named Michael and a kid who gets killed named Mikey. And man, when he puts on Mikey's mask and is driving Tina around, and it's some of my favorite stuff in H5. Anyway, the Halloween verse, if you don't know, is parody accounts. All your favorite characters from throughout all the Halloween movies. They're all over Twitter. Follow the Halloween verse. Follow Tina. Follow them all. They're always hilarious. And there's so many of them out there. So Tina today says, why is everyone talking about Mikey today? I guess Boogeyman is one way of describing him. Hashtag Michael Myers. See what she did there? That's funny. See, she's talking about everybody talking about Mikey today. Yeah, we're talking about the other Michael, but that's Tina. That's exactly what she would say. All right, over on Instagram, this is an all-star lineup on Instagram. Our buddy Tyler Main, speaking of Rob's Halloween films, never fails to participate in Michael Myers Monday. Today, 7 hours ago, he said, Happy Michael Myers Monday, birthday to my son, Lysander. Minnie Myers is all grown up, and he is a giant. Pretty awesome. There you see Tyler and his son recreating a photo from their past. Tyler's wearing the same flannel in both shots. That is great. Love that. Happy birthday. And he's doing the 15-year challenge. Pretty fitting because as you just heard me say with Scout, 15 years ago was Halloween 07. Speaking of Halloween 07, young Michael Myers himself, Dig Ferrick, says last Michael Myers Monday of the month, so make sure you kill something. Not literally, just, do a really great job type shit. And he shared some of these hilarious bloopers from Halloween 07. David says, interesting to see how Sally and TCM new movie will compare to Laurie in H18. Very, very true. Yes, you are not the first person that has made that likeness. Um, and I said that in my trailer breakdown as well, that I think Sally in this film is very much of the Laurie Strode 2018, 40 years later style, a Sarah Connor badass warrior that is ready to take on Leatherface. I think it's right. I think it's right to bring this character of Sally back. And we got one more shout out I got to do. Also from Instagram, guys. This is our buddy Douglas Tate, who, by the way, has just been added to the lineup at Mad Monster Party, where we're going to be in Concord, North Carolina, in just a couple weeks. Unfortunately, James Jude Courtney had to cancel his appearance. I had a feeling that might happen, though, with filming happening right now and through the month of February. I had a feeling he might have to cancel or limit his appearance. And as I said, they're real strict down there on that Savannah set right now as far as who can come and go on that set. So it does not surprise me that it's just not doable for James to appear at Mad Monster in the middle of filming. But how cool that they've now added Douglas Tate, one of only two men on the planet to play both Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. And in Doug's post here, you see he says, 12 years ago, I did a photo shoot with Justin Mabry at the Myers house in South Pasadena. 10 years later, I got to step behind the infamous mask as the Shape stunt double for James Jude Courtney in Halloween Kills. And here he is in that 12 years ago photo at the actual Myers house. And here he is on the set of Halloween Kills. You can meet Doug at Mad Monster Party, like I said, in about 3 weeks. We're going to be there as well, in a killer lineup of guests and vendors as well. Okay, and we are back. I apologize for those technical difficulties just then, but I think that's a sign that it's probably time to say goodnight, kids. This has been fun. The first live stream of 2022. The first Michael Myers Monday live stream of 2022. Of course, every Monday is Michael Myers Monday, whether we're live on YouTube or not. And every day is Halloween, regardless of what day of the week or what time of the year it is here at HDN. You guys know this. But yeah, Mondays we like to do it up special. So as always, I want to thank all you guys for being here. This has been fun. Oh, Summit. I look at Summit. Where is Ryan Corn? Is Corn in here? Haven't seen him in a while. Let's see. Ariel says they did a great job with Leatherface's look for this new film. He looks terrifying. I agree. Absolutely. Yeah. Check out my my trailer breakdown if you're excited for Leatherface. And please drop me a comment and let me know over there how excited you are and what I missed in the trailer. But I'm looking forward to that one for sure. Dirk says JJC is my favorite Shape man. He is. I just keep saying it. I say it all the time, but he's ultimate Michael Myers to me. It's hard for me to play favorites. I love all these guys, but man, it's James is the man. You know what I mean? He's a man. And then just when you hear him speak about playing the role and hear everybody talk about how method he gets and all, it's awesome. It's awesome. Larry says, people in Halloween Ends, remember if you go to the Myers house, stay out of Judith's room. That's Michael's trigger point. Yeah. Michael gets triggered in there for sure. Let's see. Doug Tate is awesome. He also played Jason Voorhees in Freddy vs. Jason. You're right. Yep. Him and Tom Morga are the only two men ever to play both Michael Myers and Jason on screen, in an official film. And Doug did it. So looking forward to seeing him at Mad Monster Party. And that's the next in person event we're going to be at. That's February 18th, 19th, and 20th. David Suber, you're going to be there, I know. Some of you others watching are probably going to be there. We're going to have a table. I didn't go over any in stocks today as far as our store. We do have a lot of good stuff in stock right now. We got a new shipment of Halloween Kills masks in stock right now. We got a ton of the officially licensed Halloween Kills butcher knives. They're in stock right now too. You can find them online at HalloweenDailyNews.com/shop, and we're going to have them at our booth at Mad Monster Party. We're also going to have Art the Clown masks by Trick or Treat Studios. You can buy your mask from us, and then you can walk right over and get it autographed by Damian Leone and David Howard Thornton. They're both going to be there. Again, we're going to have your HK masks. You can get them autographed by Doug while you're there. And we're going to have lots of other merch, and we're going to be covering the entire event as we do at these events. You know how it is. And I'm going to be planning on doing some live broadcasting from there as well. So you're going to want to keep watching for that. The plan for Monday nights going forward is we're back. We're doing Michael Myers Monday Live. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to be here every single week. There are going to be weeks when I just can't make it happen because of other commitments, because we're out of town, on the road, what have you. But as a general rule, plan on being here. Same Hallow time. That's 10:31 p.m. Eastern, 7:31 p.m. if you're out on the West Coast. Elsewhere, you can figure it out. And again, if you're watching this on a replay after the live chat, I still want to hear from you. Don't be shy about leaving a comment down below in the comments about anything we've talked about here. Halloween Ends. And if you're in the Savannah, Georgia area and you're one of the people that are stalking the set, tag us on your stuff. Send us your stuff. I would love to see what it looks like at that house tonight, this week, because this is when filming's actually happening there. So I would love to compare that. Like I said, I'll have a better edited version of our footage from Savannah, as well as our tour of Wilmington filming sites of Halloween Kills coming up soon, probably the next few days here on the channel. And lots of other good stuff. Most importantly, though, Wednesday, my exclusive brand new interview with Scout Compton. We talk Halloween, Michael Myers, Halloween, the holiday. We talk The Runaways, talk Scary to Me, all of it. And a little bit of Leatherface, too. You're going to love it. So be sure to check that out. As I said before, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss any of the exciting content we've got coming up. Yeah, we're just getting going with the Halloween Ends stuff, you guys. This is going to be exciting. I got questions. It's just like you got questions. But I want to experience the journey. I want to enjoy not knowing how they're going to adjust the 4-year time jump and not knowing how much of real life events are going to come into play in this. You know, I think it's an exciting proposition, honestly, of what how they can wrap this trilogy of David Gordon Green films in. It's really not even really a trilogy because they're all sequels to 78, but you know what I mean. The Green verse. The Green trilogy here. The Hallow Green films. There we go. These are the Hallow Green films. That's what they are. Bam. Stamp it. It's official. Just coined that term. These movies by David Gordon Green, they're the Hallow Green films. You can go ahead and call the zombie films the Hallow Zombie films too. Boom. Done. All right. Brad says, so excited for this next Halloween movie. Hell yes. Cool show. Congrats on your interview with Scout. Sounds awesome. Thank you so much, man. David says, thanks. Great show. Thank you, David. As always, thanks for being here. And we'll see you soon, buddy. And Mad Monster Party. It's going to be awesome. And Dirk says, I'm here in Shreveport. I'll be at Tex Frankmore, though. Awesome. Very cool. Oh, David might not make it to Mad Monster. No! No, I'm crying for you, buddy. I love the classic H2 shirt. Yes, this is actually a new acquisition for me. Thanks for noticing, buddy. Yeah, this was a birthday present from my wife and sons. You know, they know me so well. I did not have this shirt, so. Someone says you got to interview Korn. Yeah, I hear ya. David says Matt Halloween tag OG. Oh, nice. And Summit, yeah, you asked for it. I don't know where Korn is, but everybody, it's time to get ready. They like to hear me say, "Are you ready?" Like the Korn song. You know the song. You guys know it. So one time for the boys in back. Are you ready? All right, guys. Thanks again for joining me tonight. Hanging out this late. Didn't plan to go this late. I never do, but you know, it takes a little while to get through all the Michael Myers news there is to talk about. All right, subscribe to the channel. Check out the website. Subscribe to the website, HalloweenDailyNews.com. It's there every single day. You can find out more about all of this. I'm Matt Arts for Halloween Daily News. Thank you all for watching, and happy Michael Myers Monday.